Welcome to the Pop-Off with Gene FitzMagic and friends. Your daily sports and entertainment radio show, live all over the world. You're going to want to hear what these guys have to say. With their hot takes, recaps, previews, and predictions, sometimes these guys might get along, but most times, they won't. So see what happens when these guys pop off about the world of sports and entertainment.
How are you doing, everybody? It is Monday, May 15th. We had a great basketball weekend. Jason Tatum had a great basketball weekend. And joining me today, Caleb Pinkett, Ali Melendez. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Maybe a signature game from Mr. Tatum. Finally, right? Because I've been calling for one forever since he's joined the league. Finally, I got one. He shut me up. Anyway, I do want to say one thing because I've been getting a couple of emails saying, hey, I checked in on Tuesday and you guys weren't on, or I checked in on Thursday, you guys weren't on. So for whoever is curious, we're on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. At least it's for the summer, but we're on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So if you pop in Tuesday and Thursday, you're going to see an old episode. You're not going to see the current stuff. So that is why we're not.
Even
there.
I didn't know that, but that's good. You got to have a few days off, Gene. You're like working yourself to the bone.
Well, you know what? I'm having fun with it, and we're all working hard. We all make sure we see the games we need to talk about. We all make sure we know what we need to talk about. So I appreciate the work that everybody's been doing, whether you're on 1 day a week, 2 days a week, 3 days a week. So we're doing a great job, and I'm proud of what we're putting together, guys. But having said that, the one guy I was kind of rooting against because I've rooted against him for a long time, and I think he's a little bit of a fraud, although he shut me up this weekend. And I'm sure it was on Mr. Tatum's mind. I'm sure he was worried about what Gene FitzMagic thought come Sunday afternoon. Caleb. Jason Tatum, 51 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 6 of 10 from three-point range. Look at that stat line. I mean, that's an all-time great stat line. That's like Michael Jordan against the Knicks in '92 type stat line. I don't know what to say.
No, I mean, I think he balled out, right? And it's about time that he did when it mattered. Remember, I was telling you guys last time when it was when we were on here, Nigel was on here, and I was saying it's not about how many threes you make or the shots that you do. It's when you make them, right? And he did it all the way through the entire game. Like he literally took over that game and was completely unstoppable, right? Now we're going to see what he can do in the Eastern Conference Finals, and if they can get out and beat the Heat, which I'm taking Boston to win that series. And then in the NBA Finals, like these guys, and even with LeBron, and LeBron gets a little bit different love because his team wasn't supposed to do anything this season. No. So just the fact that they're even in the Western Conference Finals is a big thing for him. So his season is going to look good. But Tatum, if they lose the championship, nobody cares about this 50-point game. Like 51. No. I don't want to be disrespectful. 51 points. Don't nobody care because you gotta win now. Like doing good in games now. If he would have failed in game 7, he'd be getting murdered today. But he didn't. So it's like, okay, he had a great game. It's the most points scored in a game 7 in NBA history. Congratulations. Now you got to go get the ring. That's the only thing that matters for a Jason Tatum. He's being held to a different standard now. So I'm glad to see him step up. I'm glad he did what he did because finally, because I was a big Tatum fan. And, I like Tatum. And so many times when it mattered, he wasn't there, right? He ball out, and then when you need him, he don't show up. But he did. He did yesterday. So props to JT. But now I just got to see what he does. He has to get to the chip, and he has to win it. You know what I mean? He needs to be I'm not even considering them losing to Miami. If he loses to Miami, the conversation may be blow up the team.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I hear what you're saying, but you know what you're getting? You're getting the conspiracy theorists. What are they saying? These conspiracy theorists, we're getting a throwback to the 80s. The fix is in. The Lakers are going to go to the finals. Celtics are going to go to the finals. And the winner is going to take the lead in ultimate championships. Because I think they're both tied with like 17 or something like that right now. So this is they're setting up for the okie doke with these two teams making the finals, which I don't think the league would go that far. I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they fix games, but it is an interesting segment. And just as good as Tatum, as electric as Tatum was, Embiid, 15 points, 8 rebounds, Harden 9 points, couldn't have been more disappointing on the other side. Ali, I mean, what was your take on that side of it?
It's just so crazy because going into this, we were expecting Embiid to just be the MVP, and kind of like we're all on board with that. And now it's just like there's so many ups and downs. Like even Tatum, his game 6 was atrocious, turning around, putting up 51 points in this game 7. Yeah. It's just like, and then vice versa, Embiid, I feel like they just Harden kind of took that like downhill. And we have to talk about Doc Rivers, obviously, because it's not just the players, it's all around a bad game 7 for the Sixers. But I just think, it's so crazy what happens all season, and then in the postseason, it's such a different animal. It really, really is. And like Caleb says, it's really comes down to the timing. Like this is now, guys. You can't be up and down every game and be playing like a different player every single time. Like you got to stay consistent. So I don't know. It was just it's really nuts. But for Tatum, good, Mother's Day, his mom was sitting in the front row, so maybe he had a little extra motivation, which I feel like, hey, this is the time to end it all. Maybe they knew like the Sixers are historically bad in game 7, and he just used that. And whatever it was, the momentum obviously got them to where they needed to be. But yeah, crazy to see kind of Embiid and Harden like just
mail it in.
Yeah, exactly. And talk about mail it in. We'll talk about your everyone except Brunson on the Knicks eventually, but talk about mail it in. But we'll get there. So
actually, Ali, I'm leaving early, so we won't be able to discuss it today. I'm leaving early. I got a doctor appointment. Okay. I don't even listen. That game's it's in enough of the rear view now. I don't even want to discuss it. We'll talk about the Heat on Wednesday a little bit with their battle coming up with the Celtics. I know we have it on the thing today, but we'll actually do it on Wednesday since the series starts Wednesday. I'll tell you what. I feel like nowadays, and I think we're still waiting for that next generational talent to really come through, and it might be Devin Booker.
Sure.
There's very few people that can play at a certain level consistently in the postseason. Jordan did it, Kobe did it. I think we saw Devin Booker do it all playoff series on both series. I mean, unfortunately, they came on the short end.
No.
You don't think he did?
Did he show up in game 7?
He still scored 26 points, 28 points. I get it. He had a lackluster game, but that's
to a game 7. They didn't even get to a game 7. But in their elimination game,
in the elimination game. He didn't.
Yeah,
but was it also,
he didn't show up.
But he played so good in the rest of that, in every other game.
No, he did, but not when it mattered. Not when it counted. Like we need it now. Like I'm trying to tell you that means something. That's the biggest game changer.
Did he have that bad of
being a star and a superstar?
But I don't think he had. I know he's getting crushed for it. I don't think he had that bad of a game. I mean,
he didn't. He just didn't have a good enough game.
Well,
that's what I'm trying to tell you. That's the difference.
But
you want to be a normal dude, or you want to wear a cape?
I think
you want to get paid like you got a cape on, but you only want to show up when you feel like it. It's like, nah, man. Like you can't score 26 points. You need 46 that game. What are you talking about?
But here's the thing, though. He did it all series long. He had a little bit.
It don't matter. You did it all series long, except when I needed it.
It's one of my favorite lines in Top Gun.
Jester tells Maverick this. Listen, Jester tells Maverick this in Top Gun. He says, "Hey, kid, that was some of the best flying I've seen yet. Right up to the point where you got killed. Right? Like, all that shit was great, and then you died. That's fair. How great was it? That's the point."
Caleb gets credit for having that quote right in the holster, ready for today.
Well, because it's an idea about life. It's something that I believe about life. It's like, it's not, who cares how many times you've done it? When we need you to do it, you don't do it. So how great is it?
But here's the thing.
You know what I mean?
But my take on it is this.
You can do it. But when I need you to show up, you ain't never there.
But here's the thing.
That's when it matters.
It wasn't Harden bad. Like Harden had a putrid game for a guy that's a veteran in this league. Booker's still young, still up and coming. We haven't even scratched the surface of the best we can see of Devin Booker. And I don't think he had a horrendous game. I think he just didn't do good enough.
It just wasn't
it's better than having a bad, but that's not as bad as having a bad game as we've seen.
You want to know who showed up every game? You want to know who showed up every game? The Joker did. Every single game.
He's even fighting team owners in the crowd. But
every single game.
That's fair. That's fair.
Sorry, 1 second.
Go ahead. And you know what? My thing is this: is I get he didn't have the if you're holding them to the standard of the games that he had the rest of the series, I don't think he played to that same level. I get that, but I also don't think his level dropped significantly. Like if you look at Harden, he's scoring 45 points one game, and the next game he's coming back and scoring 13 points.
I know,
he's scoring
so
42
crazy.
points a game, and he's coming back and scoring 9 points.
That's what I'm
9
talking
points
about. It's a
in
lack
game
of consistency
7.
where it matters. Yeah, exactly. It's not acceptable. It's like not okay.
The way Philly played, it didn't feel like a game 7. It felt like an elimination game in game 4 where they were already down 3-0 and they're just mailing it in. This was like a mail-in kind of a game. And we'll wait till Caleb gets back. But I really would love to know what his thoughts are with Doc Rivers because pack that thing back up, Patty. There we go. I mean, just look at it. It's not even like he didn't play that many minutes. 38 minutes, 15 points. 42 minutes, 17 points. 41 minutes, 9 points. And that's, to me, that's the difference of why I don't crush Devin Booker that much because he just didn't, and I was saying before, Caleb, he just didn't do what he did the whole series. And I get it. That's the problem. Game 7, the game 7 was the one game that he had to, but it wasn't like he had a bad game is what I'm trying to say. Like, what would you rate that game?
Saying that.
I know you're not. Listen, I know exactly what you're saying. I'm just not killing him for it, I guess. I agree with what you're saying.
I'm not killing him either. I'm a huge Booker fan, but I'm not.
I love Devin Booker.
As if, like it's like, no, man, that's the difference. You have to step up when it's needed. You know what I mean? It's the reason why, because I'm a big Klay Thompson fan, right? I think he's just as good as Steph as far as shooting. But here's the difference. Steph shows up majority of the time, and Klay doesn't. Right? Was he? That's my point. Like you have to. It's in those moments. Now Klay has stepped up before in time, so he gets that. But like you're still playing, so there's no excuse. It can't be like, oh, I'm old. Well, if you old, retire. Right? Yeah. Like you're on the floor. You have to step up in those moments. That's what makes you great. I'm serious. It's Charles Barkley said it. He says now we paying janitors $200 million, meaning people are getting all this money and they don't show up. And I'm not saying Klay or nothing like that. I'm just saying too many times people don't show up when it's needed, but yet they want to command all this money. Jordan Poole commanding all so guaranteed money in garbage city, trash.
And meanwhile, has a glass jaw. Now let me ask you a question. So, all right. So Tatum,
don't do him like that. I think he took the punch well. I think he rolled the shoulder. He was with it. You know what I mean? It was.
I mean, yeah, he could probably teach a stunt class. But you know what?
Something like that.
Tatum 51 points yesterday. Who do you trust more? And obviously Booker didn't have a great game, game 7 or game 6. Who do you trust more though, Tatum or Booker? Who would you trust if you needed it in a spot? Would you? Tatum's never done it.
Honestly,
I feel like it's the first time Tatum's done it.
Honestly, I was gonna say for me it's Devin Booker because he's done it more, and I think he has a dog in him that I'm not sure Tatum has. Right?
Yeah.
Tatum is so talented. He's gonna drop 50. You know, I've seen him do a 50 burger before. That's not the first time. It was just in a game. That's why it's so surprising. Because he never shows up.
He was the guy that showed up. Booker to me,
he's more consistent. Booker though, so that's why I'd go with him too.
I was, and you know what Booker has to me, and Caleb kind of called it a little bit. He has that kind of like that same kind of vibe that Kobe would have, where Kobe just felt. There was times Kobe was just cold blooded, especially in the playoffs. There's times you see Booker has that cold blooded look on his face when he's hitting shots, where he's not even enjoying it. He's just on a mission, and you see that a lot with Booker, more than you do, I think, with a lot of the other kids in the league. And that's one of the things that I like about Booker, and I can't wait to see where he kind of goes from here. But that's one of those things too. Now, let's move on real quick. Another 3-1 series deficit blown. Not 3-1, but another another late series blow by Doc Rivers.
Okay. So, all right. Let me.
You got to touch on Doc Rivers.
Right. All right. So we will. So let me back up to the Yellow Mamba because that's what I call him. The thing I'm talking about is because I love Devin. Here's what I'm saying. You can have a bad game. It's just when the team needs you to show up, you got to show up. So it could be in the fourth quarter. You were 0 for 11, and then you go 4 for 5 in the fourth quarter, but your team needed that. Like that's what I'm talking about. It's like certain moments, right? So that's what I mean where they didn't do it. Now, Doc Rivers, it is so okay. I'm always the person that says, the coaching can only go so far, and then the players have to step up. Here's the thing I'm going to say about Doc, and I love Doc and have nothing but respect, but I feel like this thing has continuously happened to his teams with different players, different locations, different everything, and the same result. So then what I would say in my normal life, well, what is the common denominator? And unfortunately, the common denominator is Doc. Yes. So there's something that he does in those game sevens when or elimination games rather, when his team and they can't finish and then they can't win. Like it's consistent, and I don't understand it. He won once in Boston. That was it. And never won again, and has always been eliminated before and then after. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Underachieved in LA, underachieving in Philly.
Maybe it's something in his personality. Maybe he doesn't, and I can't say he doesn't understand how to make adjustments, but it's bad. And I think he's going to lose his job. Now, should he? In my opinion, yeah. We need new blood in there. He's been there enough. You did it. You had the team this year. Embiid wins his first MVP and scores, 15 points? Yeah, James Harden comes in with 9. So they do a total of what's that? 28 points, something like this. 24 points. And then you have somebody score 51. So double your two best players. I mean, come on, man. I don't know what to say. So I think you need new blood. You need something new there in Philly. You know what I mean? I think so. I just don't think. I think players, something is up with Doc when it comes down to elimination games. I just don't know what it is.
And I'm a Doc fan. I remember from those good New York, even not even as a coach, but even as a player, he was on those good New York teams in the 90s. So I always wanted him to be the Knicks coach at one point. Now I'd be a little leery because I feel like what he does is he's notoriously not known to not be able to get over the hump, and that's where I feel like my team is at a spot where they need to get over this hump. Ali, you're the owner of the Sixers. You're the GM of the Sixers. Are you moving on from Doc? And it seems like he's a nice man. I don't want to make it we're picking on him.
10th game 7 loss of his career. You're breaking records in the way you don't want to be breaking records if I'm the owner of this team. Yes. So I feel like that, like Caleb keeps saying, it's when it matters. It's when it matters. And if you are consecutively and consistently not leading them over the hump when it matters in game 7, I would say, okay, it's time to take a look at some fresh blood. Like it's time to take a look at maybe coaches who can really pull it through until the very end when it matters. So I do think they should take a look at their options going into next season because of course he's done great things. They made it really far compared to so many other teams. I mean, great job. I just not when it matters. So I do think they should explore other options and potentially we should be seeing another coach. I mean, you know me though, and I'm the same way with Eugene. I don't care that much about Philly because I don't care about Philly fans because they're the worst.
They're disgusting.
And I'm happy to see them out for sure.
I don't mean Eagle fans, Caleb. I apologize. Not all Philly fans are disgusting.
And we'll talk about the Eagles and how tough they're going to have it this season. But anyway, back to Sixers. Yes, if I am the owner of the team, I think I'm parting ways with Doc.
I'll tell you who I think might be a good fit there. Because he's already won a championship. He knows how to coach stars. Although it didn't really work out there, he's now a free agent. Is Budenholzer? I'd like to see Budenholzer go there. I think that'd be a good spot for him. Although
you might be right about that.
Although Phoenix would also be a great spot for him as well. Phoenix. You know what? I just don't see LA moving on from Ty Lue because I think he's like the one thing.
No, they don't want to. He should leave them.
Oh, I agree.
Why can't coaches do what players do?
He's on a sinking ship.
Say, man, I demand a trade. I demand to be up out of here.
he's on a sinking
That would be
ship.
Amazing. And then get his own destination. Not only do I not want to coach here, take me to Phoenix. I want to go with Phoenix.
That's what every single player in the league does, right?
Players do it all the time. Why can't coaches do it? And because here's what I think would be good. Because I hear the Bucks are talking to Mark Jackson, which I think will be amazing for Giannis and them. Like Mark Jackson is a brilliant basketball mind. And the way he lost his job before, I don't think is right. But
I 100% agree.
It is what it is, and you got to understand who you're dealing with, right? So that's all I'll say about that situation. For those that know, and those that don't worry about it. It just wasn't, in my opinion, wasn't fair. But hey, life isn't fair. You want fair? Go to the fair where pigs get awards. That's the only thing that's fair in this world. You know what I mean? But I will say, I just feel for Doc because he's the common denominator in all these things. And it's like nothing has changed. Like it always, when it comes down to it, his team ends up losing, and and like I said, I don't know what it is, but hey, God willing, he continues doing what he does. I think Doc is a brilliant mind. He's made $1 cajillion. He's not going to be hurting financially or nothing. So hopefully, he finds a spot, but I just think I don't know. Maybe the game is passed him by. You know what I mean? You know how like
would he be better in college, you think?
I don't know. Because I'm talking about the game itself. You know what I mean?
He's a smart basketball guy. He's got a smart IQ. It's just something doesn't go right. And I don't know if it's the pro game for him and maybe he'd be better off in college. I think the game has changed, like where he doesn't like it. It's like a NFL coach that just really just wants to run between the tackles. All the time. It's right? It's like no, like there's a time to do that, to drain the clock when you're winning, but it's like teams are going to be throwing 6 or 7 touchdowns a game, right? Yep. And you trying to run the whole time. Like you gotta incorporate the changes. So I don't know. Listen, I think he's a better coach than his outcomes are. And I'm not trying to give him a pass, but I mean he's a coach that gets.
Can you be though? But can you be?
Well, he doesn't have like it's kind of
think about what you just said.
No, I get it.
Actually, be better than what your record says. No, and yes, it's true as a team.
I don't think you can necessarily, but he gets his teams to a certain point every time. He's the type of guy that I think helps build a team, but is not the guy that gets you to the championship. Like I always feel like he's the guy like some other coach will come in and win a title within 3 years.
My stepdad used to tell me all the time. He said, close only counts in hand grenades and horseshoes. Right? Like almost close, all that, like it don't matter. And how about this? You're right about Doc Rivers. It's like he builds a team and then somebody else comes in and does well. I mean, the Mark Jackson again was the most heartbreaking thing. He builds up Golden State and then they go on their run with a new guy.
It also happened to the Spurs. Remember back in the day, remember the Spurs? They tanked to get Duncan because Robinson was hurt. The GM, which was Popovich at the time, fires the coach, makes himself the coach, and goes on one of the most historic runs of all time in the NBA history.
That's right.
A lot of people forget that. Greg Popovich fired the guy and put himself in place to be like one of the best coaches of all time.
He knew what had to be done.
He did, and that's my thing is, and that's kind of why I ask you, would Rivers be better in college? Because I think he's better with players that aren't ready yet. And kind of developing.
The problem with college is you get too many ones and dones.
That is the problem. It's not like you get them to 3 years like you used to.
I mean, but with their age, the ones who are, wanting to obviously be there and they're just maybe have more of the momentum where like I feel like Rivers might lack in his coaching to get the job done. The players might be able to pick it up more than these overpaid, NBA players who are just kind of like out of energy and then done. Because like we're not seeing the consistency, like again with Harden and Embiid, like they are a bit older. Like the college players at least have more of an advantage with just their age and their stamina. And maybe that's something Rivers can work with more toward the end again when it matters. So I don't know. I mean, that's just something that comes to mind.
I think Patty, do you have the clip of Doc Rivers in the practice before Game 7? We have a clip of Doc Rivers talking to his team before Game 7. So Patty, cue that up in a minute. I don't.
Was he too soft on them?
Oh, you're gonna see in a minute. I don't know if it was gonna. I don't know if he had. I don't know if it was the right advice. But my thing is I don't know if there's a team. If there's a team that I don't know if there's a team out there for him. Like I would. If I know this, if I'm the Suns or I'm the Bucks or I'm a team that's right there, he's not the guy I go with. Like I can't trust him to do that. Now, if I have a young team like the Houston Rockets, Detroit Pistons, they're looking for coaches. Those are situations where I say, let me bring him in, let me help him, let me have him develop my guys. Patty, you got it? Shake your head, yes or no?
This next game is a must-win for us, but luckily I keep reading about how AI can help solve any problem. So we're going to use AI to come up with a game plan. Coach, this isn't... Now, hear him out. AI, how do we prepare for this game?
I used to party and hit the strip club a lot before games.
Sounds like a good plan to me. That's a terrible idea. Coach, this isn't the AI everyone is talking about. Joel, enough. AI is the answer. Now, everyone on my van, we're going to the strip club.
So
that makes sense.
That's listen. Caleb calls all the time when players down in Miami where they look like their legs are a little bit weak, and that's what it looked like. You had your star players put up 15 and 9. I mean that's kind of what it looked like.
But they were in Boston.
Yeah, I was gonna say
in Boston. Like what does nothing
I don't know what heat's going on in Boston.
I don't know what fun. I know what
I'm
fun's
not
happening in
saying
Boston.
it can't be fun. I'm not saying Boston couldn't be popping, but it's
just not Miami.
I don't even
like. What do you like? And you know what? Maybe
not known for their strip clubs.
Maybe that joke should have been real. Maybe he should have let them go to the strip club. Them young boys,
Loosen
you got
up
a bunch
bit
of
of it.
young kids. He don't have nobody 30 years old on his team. Nobody that's 30. Think about
Well,
that.
Harden.
How old is Harden?
Yeah,
31?
I think so.
Oh, he's got to be at least
33?
I'm going to guess
He's
33.
older.
I'm going to guess he's
33?
at least 33.
Oh, okay.
Patty, look it up. Which is listen.
Oh, he's
you and me,
33.
it's not-
He's 33.
Listen to us, it's not old, Caleb. I get it. But
you know,
years,
that's where Harden wanted to be anyway. That's why that joke was. He was like, sounds like a great player.
Harden probably was.
It's
Let's
like
face it.
you got to give your boys something. You got to. Phil Jackson knew let Dennis go. Dennis said, I need a week in Vegas before the playoffs. Hey, man, cool. Go ahead. And then they win the title. So you got to know who you're dealing with. And like I said, maybe the game is passed Doc by. Sometimes you old school. You know what I mean? It's like
passed him by for a while then because he hasn't won since Boston, which was his first coaching stop. Oh no, was it Orlando? Was it Orlando before Boston? Orlando was before Boston, right?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so Orlando and then Boston, he finally won.
It's just, but again, anyway, I just think the game might have passed him by, and it's the philosophy. It's how you connect with these young kids. You know, these kids have Instagram. They have stuff like it's way, way, way different. Like they see themselves as brands now.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
He's born in the 80s, which makes him ancient for the NBA.
Right. James Harden was born in 1989. All right.
Makes him he'll be 34 this year. Yeah. So if you were all right, obviously, I think we're all in agreement that if we had a win now team, we wouldn't bring Doc Rivers in the room. If you have if you're a Houston Rockets team where you're still a ways away, you got some young kids coming in, or a Detroit Pistons team where you have some young kids coming in, places that you would bring him in.
But for what?
For development.
What? Like what would you?
Can he develop? Can he develop?
Develop what? They're pros.
So maybe go down to Orlando.
They have a coach. I'm blanking on who's their coach, but they didn't.
You develop in the D League, not in the NBA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're supposed to be ready to go.
Some of these kids still in a little bit of season. Cade
I don't know. I wouldn't waste that. I mean, so Doc Rivers be an assistant coach? You saying Doc Rivers as an assistant coach?
No, as the head coach, helping kind of get these guys like to
in
that
the G
level.
League.
No way.
In the
Too
G
much
League?
money just to develop.
Yeah,
G League all day.
But do you think he helps sell tickets in Detroit where they say, hey, he's a guy that's won a championship? He could help sell tickets in Detroit.
No. Don't nobody even remember when he won a championship. And it was only one. Nobody care about
people
one.
are going to go for him.
Maybe one of the most stacked lineups in all of NBA history. We had Kevin Garnett, he had Ray Allen, he had Paul Pierce, he had a hell of a bench. So he had a stacked lineup as you could possibly have. So there is that as well.
But whatever.
So wait, who would you want to see? I think you talked about it before, but who would you want to see step in for the Sixers if they do get rid of Rivers?
I think Budenholzer would be because he's won already. He's been with stars and he's won already.
Yeah.
He's had an MVP and he's won.
But he's looking to maybe go to Phoenix, right? I mean,
I know that
Nurse,
it's him, Nurse, and Young are the three that are talked about in Phoenix. I also think Mark Jackson should be considered for Phoenix as well. I thought Caleb had a great point about Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson should be also on that list as well.
He's talking to the Bucks though.
Yeah, I know. In fact, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah,
that's a great job for him.
So would the Phoenix job be too, though? I think because they're gonna build that. They'll get their bench settled. I think this offseason they'll make some moves.
I think Ty Lue would be a better fit. in Phoenix. Just I don't know.
If you can get him out of LA, I don't see LA letting him go. Because
they got to blow that whole team up.
But they're not gonna, because no one's gonna take those contracts. Would you trade for Kawhi right now?
No,
I wouldn't.
Hell
as
no.
good as Kawhi can be,
I take
as good as
PG.
Kawhi can be. Yeah, I would take PG when he's healthy, and I think he's not a guy that sits more unless he needs to sit. I think he needed to sit. That's going to be a train wreck for the next couple of years.
It's availability.
That's what they say. So let's preview our Lakers and the Lakers Nuggets series. Again,
Nuggets.
We said it before. the conspiracy theories.
I love that.
The conspiracy theories I'm sure he got the Lakers going up against the Celtics, but I think there's more to the series than that. Listen, Denver is a tough team for anyone to beat, let alone the Lakers, who are a little bit long in the tooth in certain spots. Denver is certainly not. Look, Denver in the paint alone, and you're going to have a guy that's going to be banged up with Anthony Davis. They were fourth in the West with points in the paint, 55 average. Jokic himself averaged 18.5 from just in the paint alone. Who wins the battle between Anthony Davis and Jokic? Now, forget it. Obviously, you're going to say, well, there's a lot of injury concerns with AD. I'm talking about a healthy AD. If AD is healthy, who wins that battle in a health? And again, that's a big if, because it's probably not going to be every game. But if he's a healthy AD, who do you have winning that battle? Anthony Davis or Jokic? Well, Allie first. Allie.
Okay.
Allie Cat.
I don't know. I'm just still reeling off a loss, and I can admit when I'm wrong, but I had 6 games, so I was kind of right there between Nuggets and Suns, with Suns winning. And I do feel like if Chris Paul was healthy, he would have been the one to kind of take it. So there's always big ifs when it comes to seeing who we think are gonna be healthy and who's not.
Especially when there's older players involved.
Yeah, of course. Like I do want to talk about this for a moment, but do you think having Chris Paul in addition to Booker, in addition to KD, do you think then they would have had a chance against, Murray and Jokic and would be coming out against the Lakers now?
I don't. And I think it's, if I remember correctly, I think it was Caleb that had this point last week, was that I think they might have been better without him. And I think it was Caleb that said, somebody said it last week.
Yeah, and it was because we talked about Booker's energy kind of just motivating KD, which I get.
And also Cameron Payne is just quicker. He's faster than Chris Paul is nowadays. So Cameron Payne was able to be more of an up-tempo type of point guard, get the ball up the floor quicker and whatnot. And not be as stagnant as Chris Paul can be. Caleb, was that you that said that last week? I forget.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's why I agree with that. The more I got to see them without, now again, they didn't win when they needed to win in Game 7. This was one of those series where every home team until the last game won not Game 6. I keep saying Game 7, Game 6. Every team won their home game until Game 6. But I thought I did think they looked better, other than that last game with Cam Payne at the point rather than Chris Paul. Chris Paul, I think, is old, and I'm not a big Chris Paul guy to begin with. I know how good he's been throughout his career. I know what he's done. But I also think that he's just getting a little too old to be. He might be a better guy off the bench at this point. But I kind of agree with what Caleb was saying. I think they look better at times with Cam Payne running the point. So I don't know if they would have been better off.
I agree.
I just think he would have been good at taking.
I think Monty Williams.
He would have been good. I think better as a guy that could have came in and did 15, 18 minutes off the bench. I think you're right about that. Could they have used him in spells? Yes, for sure. I mean, they were already short on the bench. Now you're just even more short-handed anyway. But I do think they would have been better off with Cameron Payne as the starter as he was during the injury.
So the question about AD and Joker, right? So there's a lot into that. So the first thing I'm going to say is I think Monty Williams would do better in Philadelphia as their head coach, because where I think Monty Williams' game plan failed against the Nuggets is DeAndre Ayton could not uphold his part of the game, right? He needed to at least bother Jokic. He didn't even do that. I think Embiid would be different with that kind of game plan that Monty would put in place. So I think he would do good in Philadelphia. Now, AD Jokic. I think Lakers have the advantage because AD is more athletic and he's going to pull Jokic out of the key more often than not because of his offensive prowess. If Jokic is not in the key, now those rebounds go from 15 to 8.
Yeah.
Now those blocks go from 3 to maybe 1. That's a big difference, right? Just think about that. Making him run more to go from the bottom of the key up to the 3-point line because AD is pulling up. It changes the game. And I think it favors the game pace favors the Lakers. Jamal Murray is slower. He has an ACL he's recovering from. So it's more of a half-court game. That's perfect for them old Lakers. LeBron couldn't be more happy than to not have to play until you get to half court. You know what I mean? Like
matchup-wise, you're right. I think
this favors the Lakers big time. I think the Lakers win in 6. I really do.
Wow. So, Allie, are you ready to put your stamp on what you think of the series? Who's going to win?
I don't know, man. I mean, at first I thought Caleb was going with Nuggets. So now I'm like, wait a second. Okay, that took a turn.
Yeah.
But I got it now. I understand. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like so you have 2 very consistent high earning point players. You got LeBron, you got Jokic. You have all the kind of pieces to help them get to what they need, plus do their own thing. So I really don't know. I feel like this is a situation where I could see game 7. I can see it going to game 7. I want to say I can see the Lakers coming out of it, but I feel like they're going to have such a tough time, which is why they're going all the way. Because listen, Jokic, I mean, Murray, everyone is like really holding down their spot for the Nuggets. And I just feel like it's going to be a tough run. I really do. I don't think either team is ready to mail it in. I don't know, but I can see the Lakers coming out of this.
I'll tell you what I like about this series for the Lakers. And I don't know if I have the Lakers winning. You know, I think for if you don't really know basketball or you're just not really like paying attention to the series, I think most people look at the series, Nuggets in 5, right? Like it just seems like a 1 versus a 7, an old team versus a young team. But Caleb nailed it. There's a lot of different reasons why that matchup wise, they just match up well against the Nuggets. They were 2. They split the regular season. It's not like one had the advantage over the regular season. They were 2-2 out of the 4 games they played this year. So there's that. They played each other well. Also, my question is this: who's going to guard LeBron? Like, I don't know if there's a guy that could. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if there's anybody on the Nuggets. They don't have a guy that can really guard LeBron. Like you said before, Murray's too slow. Murray's not going to be able to keep up with him. I don't know.
Hell no. And he's too small.
I don't know who you're going to put. I don't know who you can put on from that lineup that can be.
You could put what's his name? The other member of the bars. You know who I'm talking about? The homeboy. Jesus. Light-skinned dude. I don't know why I'm blanking.
Michael Porter?
Yes, because he's tall and lanky. Like those guys are gonna have to play.
I still think LeBron's gonna eat him alive though.
Oh,
he's not a great defender.
Are you talking about? Of course.
So that's what I'm saying. Like you could put him there.
They have nobody, but they got to put bodies on them. And
for sure.
Better with people that are tall and lanky.
I'll guarantee Porter's going to have a lot. If Porter's the guy, and whoever it is, because I don't think they have a guy. They don't have a guy that matches up against LeBron. So where other teams where I could see, okay, well, all right, you could put some guys on them against Golden State. There was guys they could put on them, but in this situation, there's nobody that you can really put on because they don't have a guy that fits that criteria. Whoever is going to guard LeBron is going to have. There's going to be a lot of guys that foul out this series for Denver because you're not going to have any choice but to foul them because you're not going to be able to keep up with them. So I think you're going to see a lot of fouls on whoever's guarding LeBron. I think LeBron's going to get to the line a lot, and I think you might see this be his best series out of all the series in this postseason. Having said that,
out of all series is
yes.
I agree. Out of all 3, I mean, going into the 3rd, this is going to be probably the most exciting because of the just differences in the teams, but I agree that it's a great matchup because of those differences as well.
Like people are going to watch the series and be like, LeBron still has.
Like Warriors, Lakers is like, all right, like I don't know. It's exciting because of who they are, or whatever, but it's like not that exciting because of who they are. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I feel like it wasn't like as exciting as when the Kings were involved. Like again, there was such a there's such a difference, and there is such like a, oh, this is so exciting because this is so different because this has been such a long time coming for the Kings, and and so like like Warriors Lakers, that was kind of not boring, but
it wasn't as good as it was billed to be. It was a good series.
Well,
it wasn't
because
as,
the games, because there were so many blowouts, like a
Yeah.
blowout in Game 7. Really?
Yeah.
Couldn't even compete. Like, that's what I don't like. Like,
And that's the
what,
thing.
what
And
really?
Clay disappeared this series.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't know what the
Listen,
future is for him, but
I think, well, he's gonna have a future there as long as Steph is there. It's gonna be really hard to break up the Splash Brothers, right? But one thing I will say is, like, I think this might be the playoffs where I've seen the most blowouts from game to game ever. Like, how you lose by 20 points one night and then win by 30 the next night and then lose, like I mean,
and that was the problem with the series.
Yes, but that's happening everywhere. It wasn't just with the Lakers and Golden State.
Look at Phoenix.
It's like all of them. Like, what is going right? How you score 45 points in a game and then you only score 9 in another when they need it? Like, stuff like that. I mean, this is you can't make this stuff up. It's insane. Like, just this hard up and down. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like,
that was kind of like all the series though. Like, really, like the top players are just like so up and down, so inconsistent. It's really it's interesting in that sense because it's like, what's going on? Like, what is the problem? But it's I don't know. I'm excited for the series. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think
the series is going to be closer than people think. Oh, and again, because of the matchup
I think so too.
With the matchup with like, I get no one there can guard LeBron. LeBron's going to have the type of series that you can go, LeBron's got 5 years left in him still. Go ahead, Caleb.
How did they cover Jokic though? Like, I almost feel like
who, the Suns?
He's kind of isolated as a player.
I mean, the thing is, Jokic plays like a point guard. He plays like, and I think who made the comparison to Magic Johnson? He reminds me of Magic Johnson the way he plays the game. He can do everything. So like, and that's the scary part.
Exactly.
With Jokic. Like, he can go outside. He can, and he's going to be able to do things that I think that most other centers, like, he does things offensively that most centers can't, and it makes it harder on a defensive center. Now, with Anthony Davis, and Anthony Davis he can hit from far too. So it's going to be a little bit of the same battle in that sense. He's not the ball handler and the passer that Jokic is, but he can take the ball
if he's healthy.
If he's healthy, if he's not hobbling around. What do the Lakers need to do to win the series, Allie?
I don't know. Like, LeBron's got to go back in time a few years, and I think just like bring it up because we know Jokic is capable of 50 plus points. LeBron's kind of more around that 30 range, so I feel like to pick it up. Yeah, Caleb's going in and out. He's playing basketball with his internet, I think. Yeah. So to see like LeBron be like LeBron a couple years ago, I think would be needed. Would be really big. But AD to be healthy would be amazing. There's a couple factors, but really just I feel like Jokic is going to be the one to kind of block and going to be the one to kind of keep their eye on. Is like really the biggest threat in terms of just racking up points, putting up points. So I feel like I don't know. I'm just like going through notes and stuff, but I don't know. Like I said, it's going to Game 7. I think it's going to be high energy.
My tail is back.
I don't know what's going to happen at the end, but I'm just like I'm excited for this one.
So then, Caleb, I give the question to you. What do you think? What do the Lakers need to do to win this series?
Just play the way that they've been playing. I think they have too much firepower for Denver. I really do. And I think their role players match up well. And then the X factor is LeBron. Nobody can guard him. Like, he's going to be able to do what he wants. And the one thing about LeBron that I have to give him props for, he knows how to make his team better. He knows how to make everybody play. And that is, you can't put a price on that. Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to be too much for Denver. That's why I'm taking the Lakers in 6.
There you go. Now, what would you say? So for the Nuggets to win the series, let's flip it around. What would the Nuggets need to do to be able to take the series?
Jokic needs to play like LeBron. He needs to play the way that he does play. Jokic actually plays like LeBron if he was a center. Like, I'm dead. He makes everybody better. He's always consistent. He always shows up. right? He just needs those role players to be when he hits them, they got to make those shots because they're not going to beat the Lakers if not.
It kind of is riding on him, I feel like.
Yeah. Listen, if you can shut Jokic down, the series is over. Like it's over. It's whether or not they can. I think.
I don't think.
Jokic.
And honestly, I'll just say this: I don't think Darvin Ham even wants to stop Jokic. What his plan is,
let him do what he needs.
Everybody
else.
His plan may be shut Jamal Murray down because Jokic can't do it without Jamal.
And if Murray can go for 40 like somebody.
We saw that when they were against the Suns, and he put up 53 points, and they still lost.
Yeah, it's like that don't matter. So I don't think the plan is to stop Jokic. Because you don't even want to put AD. You don't want to get AD in foul trouble. You don't want him to get a shoulder in the chest, and now he's out because he dislocated his sternum or something like that, or broke his clavicle. You know what I mean? So it's like that's not going to be the plan. The plan is to stop Jamal Murray. And they got a lot of bodies.
Shut him down.
They got a lot of bodies they can throw at Murray. Schroeder. Austin Powers. D'Lo. Everybody. That's 24 fouls right there that you can use. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. Don't go for Jokic. Go for who would support him.
Well, I think that's also what Phoenix did too.
Murray. And you also force Murray to be consistent. You're forcing him to endure that knee. Because you play a hard game and you go out there, you're going to be sore. His soreness is different. And then you only get a day of rest and you got to go do it again.
Yeah. And that's the thing with Jamal Murray. He's not, and that's the thing. Jamal Murray is as easily as he can go for 40. The next night he can easily go for 15. So, no,
that's right.
Cat's trying to climb on the desk.
I think the game plan is to shut Murray down, and that's how you beat the Nuggets.
That's a good point. It's
not Jokic.
We've seen how many times we've seen Jokic go for 40, 50 points and still lose in a losing effort.
That's right. I just saw him lose against Phoenix that way.
What was it? Game 5? Was it game 5?
One of them he scored 50 points and lost.
Yeah, I think it was game 4 actually. He had the triple double. So even with a triple double, so
still lost.
There we go. So all right. So I do have the Nuggets still winning in 7. Caleb has the Lakers in 6.
Yep.
Allie?
Lakers in 7.
Lakers in 7. Okay. So that means they're gonna win on the road. That's tough.
That means a game 7 on the road. Woo!
That's a game 7 on the road. It's too bad that
and the one thing I will say that I can't act like it doesn't exist. Here's where the Nuggets, this will help the Nuggets. This is where home court actually matters. It's the elevation.
Yeah.
We're going to see if the young boys can breathe up there. That's where they have the advantage.
That's a good point.
Denver's used to that. The Lakers are not. And that does matter. Let me tell you, you go
especially when you get a little longer in the tooth, And
and you try to, and you're tired, and you go and you give that and you get half the air you're used to getting.
That's so true. Mm-hmm.
But you know what though? The way LeBron works out, I'm sure he works out with those masks that limit.
I was gonna say, I can see him doing like the
again. I'm not worried. It's not LeBron.
It's the Austin Reeves.
It's the younger one.
Austin. It's D'Lo. It's all the. Trust me, they're not training like that. They're not training like that. They're young boys. In the off season is the real off season. They're actually partying in the off season. Okay, like it's a big difference. And I'm telling you that elevation is going. I think it will help Denver. Now, will it make them win? Of course not. But I do think it gives them a slight advantage until the Lakers can assimilate themselves to. That's a hard word to say. Assimilate.
It is. Assimilate.
Just pronunciate it. So, you know what, guys? We're going to move on to the All-NBA teams, but first we're going to take a short commercial break because I need to take a bathroom break. Allie, if you need to take a bathroom break, take a bathroom break. We'll be back.
Thank you so much.
Is it number 1 or number 2? People want to know. Number 1 or
number 1? 1, 2, or 1, 2, or 3?
I don't know what 3 is. I'm scared of what 3 could be.
Me too. I just wanted to see your reaction.
I drank a lot of tea this morning.
Chat, which one y'all think it is? Y'all.
We don't have it.
Let us know what number 3 is for you guys at home.
Send us an email. Let us know what you think, guys. So I'm going to go urinate real quick, and then we're gonna come back from commercial break. And then Pat, also when we come back, we'll do our travel one, so I can do the read on that. We'll be back in a minute.
Craving your favorite theme park treats right from the comfort of your home? Introducing MainStreetTreat.com. We bring your favorite treats right to your doorstep. Visit MainStreetTreat.com today and go ahead, treat yourself.
Happiness is addictive. Passionate about spreading laughter and creating smiles worldwide. Happiness is addictive. Brings our global community together through humor, optimism, cheer, hopefulness, and merriment. Happiness is addictive. Happiness is addictive.
Guys, looking to book a vacation? Try Your Fairy Tale Vacation. Reach out to Neil Schuchard at Your Fairy Tale Vacation. His email is neil@yourfairytalevacation.com. You can reach him on Instagram at Disney Universal Travel Planner. You could even give him a call on his cell phone, 713-817-5934. He specializes in Disney World, Disneyland, Orlando, Universal Orlando, Universal Hollywood, even does those big cruise ships, Disney Cruise Line, Royal Caribbean, Holland America, Norwegian Cruise Line, and Princess Cruise Line. 100% free quotes, 100% free travel planning. You're not paying him a cent. He gets paid by the companies. So go check out my man Neil at Your Fairy Tale Vacation. All right. So we're just recently released was the All-NBA team. I know it came out last week, but we haven't had a chance to talk about it. So let's go over it real quick. Team, do you want to go back? Should we go from first team to third team or from third team to first team, Caleb?
Well,
Patty jumped the gun on the first team.
Yeah, well, so we'll start because Patty said this is where we starting. So let's go here.
There we go. All right, so we got at forwards, you got Giannis and Tatum. I don't agree with the Tatum pick, but okay. Guards, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka Doncic, and then at center, Joel Embiid. Obviously, you knew Embiid was going to be there. He is the MVP of the league, so you knew that was going to be there. Giannis, I have no problem with. I don't know if I would have put Tatum there. I'm going to be honest, and I know I'm a Tatum hater, but I don't know if I would have put Tatum there. And I also don't know if I would have put Shai Gilgeous. I know the year he had, he would be on an All-NBA team, but I don't know if I would have put him first team to Shai. I think I would have had him back at two on the second team.
Absolutely. And I mean, look, so Max Kellerman said this years ago when he used to be on First Take, and I'm a big fan of Max. And one of the things he said that I totally agree with, he said the MVP needs to wait, and it should be at the end of the playoffs reward. Even though we know it's a season award, but you got to take the playoffs into consideration. Embiid does not deserve that because he did not show up when his team needed it. That's not very most valuable player type play, right? It's like, it should be an end of the complete season award, the playoffs included, and then the MVP should be chose, right? Because Giannis got eliminated. So maybe would he be in that conversation? You see, Jokic obviously should have won because he's the one that's still playing and did it like the way that he's doing it. He's showing the MVP thing. So that's what I'm gonna say about that. Do I think Tatum should have been on first team all NBA? I'm not gonna be mad. I would have put KD. I would have put Booker. Like anybody. I love those two guys. And
yeah.
So I would have put Jokic instead of Embiid. I think I've already said that. I'm not mad at Giannis, being there. I think he's phenomenal. I'm not mad, but I just think there are some other players that could have done it. Luka offensively, but he ain't first team. He ain't defense. So I think that should matter too.
I agree.
Like it can't be just because you could score 100 points, but you give up 102 points. You know what I mean? Because you don't guard nobody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I'm not. I know it's an offensive league and we changed the rules to be more offensive, but I don't think Luka deserves to be first team just because he's good offensively. You know what I mean? So
I hear you. I think I still might have had him there. And we'll get into second and third team in a second, and then you can kind of see. I probably would have had Donovan Mitchell as one of the guards on the first team. I thought he had that good of a year this year. I probably would have had Donovan Mitchell there. Now, again, not great defensively either. I get it. But I feel like with what he's also done in Cleveland, turn that team around, I got to give him a couple of extra points for that. But Allie, what did you think? And Patty, pull up the graphic real quick so Allie can see the graphic again. Do you have any issues with the first team? Giannis at forward, Tatum at forward, Embiid at center, Doncic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at the guards. Is there any there that you would change out?
I don't like Embiid. I don't know. I don't like him. I do think he just got all soft and.
How is Booker not on that list either? How is Booker?
That's what I'm saying.
So, let's do that instead. I'm on board with that one. Can we swap out?
Well, who
do we write to? Who do we write a strong?
Who would you put as a center? If it's not
Jokic.
I'm asking Allie. That's what she's going with Jokic.
Sorry.
Absolutely. He's been strong. We're seeing him be amazing in playoffs, and B lost it. He just like I don't know what happened.
Even in Game 6, you look. He even self-admittedly didn't touch the ball for the last 5 minutes in Game 6. So even when it's not even like
Jokic would be way better.
He shrinks. He shrunk in those couple of games. So
I don't know.
I would probably though for the regular season I'd probably keep Embiid there. I would probably move Tatum out and move. You guys are gonna say I'm saying this because I just like the player. I like Jaylen Brown. I like everything he does on the court. He's one of my favorite players in the league.
I'm not putting Jaylen Brown over in that position over.
Am I showing
I would rather have KD? Like, what are you talking about?
All right, I could do that. I'm talking about out of that Boston team, though. I'm talking about out of that Boston team.
Yeah, but
KD didn't even make it.
Brown, okay, I get your point. Brown has more dog in him, right? But he's not as good as Tatum. He's not. He's good, but he's not as good as Tatum. And that's why you don't like Tatum, because you see he's got all that talent. And
he's born with something that only could be given from God. He's born with something that God can only give a person. And I'm not saying he doesn't work hard. He's relying on talent that he was born with. Obviously, I'm sure he works hard. But I feel like Brown has to work harder for his talent level. And that's again, he's kind of like a throwback to what Kobe and Michael were. Is Jaylen Brown has that where he's got ice water in his veins.
Okay, see, but the thing is, Mike and Kobe both had that God-given talent that Tatum has. Brown don't have that.
No, he doesn't.
He just
I admit, I agree with that.
That's true.
He's not as good as Kobe and Mike was. Kobe and Mike, Tatum has that level of. Tatum could be like that if he had, but Kobe and Mike got dog in him. They got Brown's heart with Tatum's
He'd have to show up the way he showed up in the last game consistently to be in that same category as them, I think.
Yeah.
But he has the potential.
So, all right. So the major thing that I do is I think I take out Gilgeous-Alexander and I put Donovan Mitchell there. Okay. Patty, real quick, just shake your head, yes or no. Do you have two? Do you have 2 and 3s teams? Oh, he does. Okay, cool. So Jaylen Brown obviously is the forward on team 2. Jimmy Butler is the other forward. Stephen Curry is the guard. Donovan Mitchell as the other guard, and Nikola Jokic as the center. What do we agree or disagree with here? Caleb, you go first.
Obviously, Jokic on second team should be first. All right.
Okay.
And I was going to say that second team looks like they could give that first team a run for
I was going to say that too.
It's a solid team. Jimmy Butler?
Yeah, Stephen Jokic.
Jimmy Butler could have been over Tatum.
Yo, that second team looks like they could give that first team.
We should swap second team as the first team.
Yeah, man. They could give that team a run for their money.
100%.
I'll tell you what they should do. They should do something during if obviously you might have guys in the finals, so I guess they can't. I would love to see an exhibition of first team versus second team. Just give me like a
quarter.
Just give me a quarter, maybe
12-minute game.
Give me a first
game of 21.
Yeah, first to 21. That would be an exciting game to watch. They should do that with the first and second teams just to see how many times the second team can beat the first team. But they'll never do that because writers don't want to be proven wrong. So the writers would never let that happen. The NBA doesn't want to let that happen. But I love Jimmy Brown there. I think he should have been number 1. What about? Did I say Jimmy Brown? I meant Jimmy Butler and Jaylen Brown.
It's okay. We know what you meant.
That's what I'm saying about Patty. So you guys, how do you guys feel about Jaylen Brown on the second team? I know you didn't agree with the first team, but how do you feel about the second team? Alec?
I like him on the second team. I think with Steph and is Jokic. So can you put that back up, Patty?
Jokic was also
Jokic
the second
and
team.
Steph. I mean, great. I think that's
and they got some guys that play defense there.
Give a run. Yeah,
this is a better defense. Here's why this team might actually win.
I do like Jokic again though on the
defensively.
first team,
you got Jaylen Brown. You got pull it back up, Patty. You have Jimmy Butler, one of the better defensive players in the league. Jokic can do anything, really. It seems like that's like I think that's like one of the only times you'll see him smile is right there because he's always such a moody son of a bitch on the court. No, there's obviously Donovan is no defense, but yeah, I don't know. I think defensively, this is definitely a better squad defensively. No,
yeah, but again, I'm saddened to see that D Book is still not on a team.
Yeah,
like
he didn't make what? No, he didn't make first or second team, which he should have been on the first team if you ask me.
Yes.
So and I know that you agree with that as well. So let's move on. Patty, do you have the third team or no? He's got the third team. So we got De'Aaron Fox. We got as one guard, Damian Lillard as the other guard, who is the future, probably a future Knick. It seems like it might happen. Let's say, hopefully, fingers crossed. Julius Randle, hopefully soon to be a former Knick. LeBron James,
yeah, oh my God, I hope so.
Domantas Sabonis as the center. I was surprised at Sabonis being the third on that list. I didn't. I'm trying to think who I would probably put there. Offhand, I got to think about it, but it surprised me seeing his name there. I know he had a great year. Any surprises on this for you, Allie?
Randall just needs to be out of the NBA. Like, I don't know what's going on. No, I'm kidding. I love seeing Damian Lillard there. That makes sense for me. I would. So wait, is it possible he's going to become a Knick?
There's always rumors. The Knicks are always on.
I didn't know if there was anything past rumors and I missed something. Okay.
No, it's just rumors right now.
Just hopeful rumors for you.
Yes, hopeful rumors.
Yeah, I don't know. Randall fell off. He said, "I'm logging out," and then that was the beginning of the playoffs, and then he just never came back online. But I guess for a third team, that's fine. But yeah.
But to
Can you put that back up, Patty?
No, KD. Like I know KD was hurt a lot, but he couldn't have been
there. Of course, Damian Lillard loved that.
I like the addition of
Fox. All right, Fox. Yeah, I feel like there's very
great year.
Contrasted.
He had a really good year.
Contrasted talent up here on this one,
Caleb, who do you disagree with on this list?
I'm in bad shape here. I'm disappointed. I now can't finish my lunch and I'm not.
Who's making you the most nauseous?
It feels like this is political. Like not really basketball mind. Like, oh no, he had a good season. He's so hot right now. It's Hansel. He's so hot right now. Like that kind of thing. Like, oh yeah, De'Aaron Fox. Let's put Fox there. Oh, and let's put. It's like what? Like I'm not saying Fox is not a baller. Fox can make it. I'm not saying he shouldn't be there, but I just feel like because the Kings had this season. They had to put Sabonis and Fox in there.
That's what it was.
How you not gonna have Devin Booker? How is Kevin Durant? KD isn't on the list. Are you kidding me?
Sense.
Right? Like I don't know, you guys. I just feel like I feel like it's political and I don't like it when I feel like
it's almost like to make it fair, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like,
yeah.
Well, let's just appease everybody instead of doing what actually makes them sense. And it's like, why are we getting soft?
And I think the league likes having a young Kings team being represented going forward.
I get it.
This could be a future star team.
And I'm not the biggest LeBron fan in the world, but how the hell is LeBron James on the third All NBA team? Because hold up,
just because of who he is.
His team was 25-30 in February, and they're about to play in the first game of the Western Conference Finals tomorrow.
Yep.
That is not a third NBA, all NBA team type guy.
And he's the only guy that made it from the Lakers, I believe, right?
Are you kidding me? Like, no, he's not there. Again, that's political.
Well, right? Out of the team, who's the most egregious, the most egregious pick, would you say?
Out of what?
Out of the third team, which would you say is the most egregiously wrong? Sabonis?
Let me see the list again.
Hold up, Patty. Would you say Sabonis?
No, I would say Julius Randle.
So, and that's what I'm saying. So, who could you see being there instead of him? KD obviously would be one.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's easy. I could put all kinds of people there. Here's the issue with Randle, and it's you know what? I'm gonna take this back. You can move this, Patty. You can take it off so I can look. So, look, here's the deal. I'm actually okay. Randle gets a lot of and I know this is bad for you, Gene, because you're a diehard Knicks fan, so you're probably gonna kill me with this take. But here's
I'm not a Randle guy right now, so I probably won't.
But I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say this anyway. Randle gets treated unfairly because he's not a superstar, but everybody wants him to be one and play like one.
He's getting paid
when
like one.
When do you ask a dog to purr? They don't do it. I don't care how much you love your dog, and you can try to train him all you want. He'll never purr because that's not what he or she does. They're dogs. They bark and they scratch and they run, right? Like, it is a different thing. You don't ask lions to run like gazelles, right? It's like we're asking him to be something that he is not. He is a role player. He is not your number one option, right? For you to even put him in that position and expect him to perform like that and then get mad when he doesn't, when he's always just been a role player. That's what he was in LA. And that's why the Lakers got rid of him, because they were like, we need you to be a star. He's like, I'm sorry, I'm not that guy. Right? And then he goes to New York and they put all this pressure on him. My man, Stephen A., who I love, putting all the pressure in the world on him like he Jimmy Buckets. He's not Jimmy Buckets.
No, he's not.
You know what I mean? And it's not fair. And I know life isn't fair, and I always say it, you know what I mean? But it really just feels like the energy is put in the wrong place. That is not who he is. He's never said he was that, and he's never tried to be that. All he's tried to do is exactly what he's supposed to do, not over and beyond. You know what I mean? A superstar goes over and beyond. And I just feel like it's misplaced when we put that on Randall. He shouldn't even be on a third NBA all team. He's not that type of guy. He's not a superstar.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
But,
I like that perspective. Yeah.
But they put him in that position as if he is. He's not Kyrie Irving. You can kill Kyrie. You can kill KD. You can kill D Book. You can kill those guys when they don't show up because they are that. But he's not. And like for it to be as if, oh my God, he failed us. Oh, he's so terrible. No, he's not. He's exactly what he's supposed to be.
But to Gene's point, it's like, but then why are you paying him that much? And then
they had to keep him. They had to pay him to keep him. And let's face it, nowadays what happens? Everybody gets overpaid a little bit because
Charles
absolutely.
So
Charles
and at the time, he was the guy and he was the only guy they had at the time. So he was the star of a team of scrubs. And I'm not trying to just
listen.
They didn't have any of the other players they had around him.
He needs to go. Okay,
for a first start, at least
too much money to stay there, because what he needs to be is the person that ignites and keeps the team locked in. See, RJ Barrett needs a leader.
Yeah.
Then RJ can perform. He can't perform because he's depending on somebody who's not a leader. Could you imagine the corporal trying to be a general? Right? It's this weird thing. It's like it doesn't work. You know what I mean? And I just feel like Brunson got let down because they need Brunson to be all that. So Brunson has to make the team better and be its highest scorer. And like all of these
move
things,
the ball around.
He's not like I'm serious. They
can say something. Brunson played like a dog this series though. They did not lose because of him.
Dame will now be he will now be the guy that Randall was supposed to be, the superstar, right? Yep. Who will make the team better when needed, but when it's on me, and he can deliver. We all know Dame can deliver. So it's like, so I just feel, again, I know my little rant on Randall, I just feel like he's getting the short end of the stick that he didn't even ask to have. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
I 100% agree. And I think he tries to be a leader. And sometimes it's like you gotta. I feel like sometimes too, like when the ball gets to him too, it stops. Like he's also like we say it about Doncic, we say it about Kyrie. He's not as good as them offensively. You know, he's just not as
because
good.
He's told that's what he's supposed to do. So now he's trying to be something that he's not.
Exactly.
Okay, the ball's mine. Okay, now I gotta isolate. Isn't this what Luka does? Yeah, this is what Luka does. Right? Like it doesn't feel natural. Like it's not who he is.
He needs to go someplace that has a star, an established star.
Everywhere he looks, everybody's telling him that's what he needs to do.
But
you know what I mean?
Having said that, he needs to go to a place that has an established star already. So like
that's what I'm saying.
Going to Portland.
So where would that be?
It's not Portland because Portland, he'd be the guy in Portland.
No, you know where he would be good?
Minnesota.
Milwaukee,
he would be fantastic.
You're right. Because he gets to be him. Giannis is already the star.
Yeah.
We don't need you to do that.
So true.
We just need you to give us 15. Can you give us 15?
Do you put them on the court together though, him and Giannis? Can they play together?
I mean, Giannis can play with anybody. I really think he's.
But can Randall play with Giannis?
Huh?
I know, I agree, but
I think
Randall
so because Randall wants somebody else to be in charge. He just wants to do his part, and that's it. Go home to his beautiful kids, enjoy his life. That's what he wants. He don't want all the pressure of being the guy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I get you.
It's like I think he would be phenomenal with Giannis in Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
But even because I know one of the rumors is Minnesota, because there's rumors that he would be part of a Karl Anthony Towns trade, and I think even in Minnesota he'd be okay, because he's not going to have to be the guy there, because they got Anthony Edwards who thinks he's going to be the guy.
Yeah, but again, I just feel like it's not who he is, and it's slightly unfair to put that on somebody when they're clearly not that.
No,
clearly.
No. I mean, and this year was proof of it. Last year we saw enough of it where the pressure got to him last year.
Because he's not that.
And then this year the pressure came off a little bit because you had Jalen Brunson, who took some of that pressure. Jalen Brunson
Brunson did everything he could, but it still didn't take away from the fact that Randall needed to be the guy, and he wasn't, because that's not who he is.
Gene, what do the Knicks have to do? What if they keep Randall or something happen? Whatever. What do they have to do?
They need a real leader.
Advance.
They need a real leader.
They need 3-point shooting too. They need some better.
It's not Brunson. They need a real leader.
We got to give him credit where he definitely deserves the credit for carrying the series. Yeah.
There's no disrespect to Brunson, but Brunson's not that either.
Can they go out?
Great piece. They need that guy to be there. Whether it's like a Kawhi, if he was playing.
Yeah. No, totally.
Dame Lillard, Kevin Durant, like those things. And Kevin, I'll give him a little slack this season because of the whole thing. So next season, if he do the same thing, then we got to start looking at KD like, yo. But again, but I take that back, because KD's not even really the leader type. That's always been his knock, is that he don't take over. He allows others to, right? So I take it back, not him. You need that sort of person there that can be that allows everybody else to be who they are. And people play better when they trust that somebody else got it. You know what I mean? The Bulls worked because they knew Mike got it. If it get too bad, kick it to 23, right? And so LeBron, Kobe, like you need Steph, those kinds of guys. So I think New York needs somebody like that, and it's New York. They
need two guys.
Deserves it.
Garden, they need two guys in the Garden. They don't need just one. They need two.
If Brunson will be a phenomenal Robin to somebody.
Brunson needs to be. Yeah, he could be. So what I say is we need like the rumors out there right now that they're looking to bring in Karl Anthony Towns to put him at center, and then also looking to bring in Dame Lillard. Right? Like when you hear about both those players,
you know how many people they got to get rid of.
Well, all right, but
it might just be them and Brunson. They'd be the only team with 3 players in the league.
I'll tell you what, I'd go to war with that squad, man. But you know what? Like you'd have to move RJ.
Yes,
and that's fine. I get it. You'd have to move Randall. Yeah, right. You have a million gazillion picks. I'd move all my picks. Take them all. I don't need them. F them picks, as one GM used to say. F them picks. And then and you know what? As much as I like him, he's too up and down for me. Is Mitchell Robinson? And you obviously Mitchell Robinson will be part of that move, because now you're bringing back Karl Anthony Towns in some way, shape, or form. I know there's a couple of trade scenarios where they can work out where they can actually land both of those players. What was there was another thing where it was Karl Anthony Towns and Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram, who had a great season this year. There was another, I think we actually had. We're going to talk about it later on this week. But there was some trade scenarios where they said that the Knicks could go get Karl Anthony Towns and go get Brandon Ingram. Karl Anthony Towns, Brandon Ingram, Obi Toppin then taking over for departed Julius Randle, who shined at times this year.
He's not a scrub. He's just not the guy. That's all I'm
Toppin? Yeah, but he doesn't need to be the guy. If you're going to bring in Karl-Anthony Towns and Brandon Ingram to be your 2, you got Brunson at your 1, Ingram at your 2. I don't know. You figure out your 3 because I don't know who that would be just yet. But you got at the 5 would be Towns, and at the 4 would be Toppin. I think that's a decent starting squad, and at least Eastern Conference Championship caliber squad.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, I think that would be huge. I think in that what you just pitched, if that was to happen, if it's those 3, Ingram, Towns, and Brunson, I think the trio can equal that 1. Is that like spread out between the 3 of them? Because neither one of them, to me, is that guy alone.
Yeah.
They're not 10s.
They might be that together.
That's what I'm saying. And I think they all fit well. They all fit together. Like I think all their games would complement the other. Like, listen, could Ingram just had a year this year where could it be lightning in a bottle this year? He just had a great year, and then he's going to go somewhere and kind of go to who he was, which wasn't a bad player, but this year he kind of upped his game a bunch, right?
Scheme means everything, man. I'm telling you, some players perform better in certain schemes than others.
Well, and I think and again, about Randall, that's what I think tricked a lot of the Knicks fans into thinking Randall was that guy, because that first year here, he was superb. That first year here, he was superb, but again, who else on this team was able to really step up? Anyway, he was the guy because there was nobody else to be the guy, and there was no pressure because we weren't really a winning team just yet.
There you go.
And we
overachieved. It's easy to bust when ain't nobody watching.
Exactly.
But when the world is watching, now it's like that's what they call them bright lights.
And it doesn't get any brighter than New York. So there's that. So let's move on to Drew Holiday winning Teammate of the Year. Beats out.
That's sweet.
It's a sweet award. And this is my man Drew. Beat out.
He just looks like a cutie. Like he just looks like man of the year.
I love the guy. I would take
all
him
of the year.
I would take his brother played for the Knicks for a little bit. I would take him in a heartbeat. Plays defense too in a heartbeat. But he beat out Brooklyn Bridge, came in second, as Allie's familiar with Michael Bridges.
Love that guy.
Steph Curry, Derrick Rose, Udonis Haslem, Damian Lillard. 2 of those guys on the list never even play. So it just shows you how important. It's more like a glue stick together kind of guy on the team, backbone of the team. Rose and Haslam haven't even played wholly at all this year. So I know this isn't one of the popular awards, one of the more like awards, but agree or disagree with this pick? I mean, how do you feel about it, Allie?
Love Brooklyn Bridges. Could have personally went with him, but sure, I'm fine with it.
A little bit of a homer pick, Allie. A little bit of a homer pick. That's all right.
Full bias. No, I think sure. Why not? I think it's good. I don't know. I'm not like super plugged in with this, but
I don't know who. I don't know who votes on it. If this is a writer thing,
right?
Or this should be a players' vote. I believe. If it's not, it should be. But Caleb, how do you feel? It
really should be. Yeah, if it's not.
I mean, like I said, it's sweet. I don't care.
Yeah, like I don't really. This doesn't really do anything for us, right?
Like,
it's not like
he's at home.
He's not playing. That's a good point. He's not playing right now.
He can go pose for the cover of Good Housekeeping.
The award isn't winning championships, therefore we are not that plugged in.
It's Mr. Nice Guy. It's Mr. Nice Guy.
But it's great.
Which is why it should be why it should be voted on by the players, and that's it.
Yeah, totally.
Again, I don't know if it's voted on by the writers or what, but it should be. So let's go on to the next thing. Monty Williams out as the Suns head coach. Actually, no. Grizzlies suspending John Morant. I skipped that. What do we do with John Morant? I mean, all the talent in the world. Just got in trouble for the same goddamn thing. He literally just got in trouble for the same thing. I mean, what is going through this kid's mind? What do we do here? Do we bring a veteran to kind of set him in line, or do we need to move on from him? I mean, he's getting suspended again for the same thing that he did only like 2 months ago. What do we do here?
Something's like not right. Like this, that's a weird. Like, okay, one time, then you learn, right? And you're like, oh, okay, now I know. 2 times.
He's got a lot
on there.
And I love this kid. I think he's a tremendous player. He was my favorite out of that draft. But
but to separate his character from his talent is that those are 2 different things. Like absolutely. But what does that say about his character? Like,
And
what
let's
does
not
that say
forget,
about
last
him?
offseason, he punched a 17-year-old kid during a pickup game.
Yeah, I
Allegedly.
don't.
So,
I wouldn't say love. Like, I wouldn't say I love him.
well, I mean, I love the
talent.
player. I love the
He's got
player.
talent.
I love
Yeah,
the talent.
exactly.
I love the talent.
No, I get it. I just think, one, he's 23, right? I understand he just got in trouble for that, but you know, the truth is he wasn't breaking any laws, right?
No, I get it. I get that.
So the issue is that the NBA says, no, we don't want that for our image. And so what he doesn't understand is how important he actually is to the NBA and how they're marketing and using him, right? He still thinks he belongs to himself. He doesn't. He's
not.
Now a commodity, right? And they super overpay. And I'm not saying he's not worth his money, but what I mean is, like, you're getting paid $1 gajillion and you're only 23. Right. So that's a major investment that these companies are putting into you. So they want to promote you and sell your image to get parents to buy tickets for their kids to come watch you play. Parents don't want to buy tickets for their kids for a guy that's carrying a gun. You already got tattoos. You already parked your eyebrows like we was doing in 93. Like, what the hell is that? Right?
Punch a
You got different
17-year-old.
colored dreads all in
Sounds
your
not
hair,
right.
tattooed everywhere, and you sagging. So you're already at a loss. And you got diamond chains everywhere. So you're already looking like their least favorite rapper, the parents, right? But you're an athlete and you're phenomenal, so they love to watch you play. So they already don't want to buy their kids tickets to watch you, but you're so spectacular they have to. But then you're going to have a gun in the video. It's like you're portraying yourself to be everything that they don't like about the Black culture in America. Right? What they don't like about hip hop culture in America. They already think, oh, these kids, they just get everything thrown at them and they don't respect nothing. You're just leading right into that thing. Now, obviously, it's what he has to deal with in his life that he has to get through. Because if it wasn't, he wouldn't be going through it. So that's how you know it's perfect for him. It's exactly what he has to deal with. All of this pressure is going to make him be the person he's supposed to be or not. You see what I mean?
If this is absolutely?
I'll tell you what. I'm going to go, Valley. I just want to say one thing. It's not fair for him though to put that. That's a lot to put on one man's shoulders.
Then give the money back.
I hear you, but like
I bet he ain't gonna do that. I bet you.
but you said, like, you know, talking about like with as far as like the aspect as far as him being an African American and having that. It's a lot of it's in general in the United States. It's a lot of pressure to put on anyone in general, let alone being a face of the franchise. So I get it to an extent. My thing is, it's simple to not listen. If you get caught out there, certain things happen, right? You get into a fight, and you're out in the club. Chances are somebody's probably starting with you because they know they can. They're looking at it as a payday, and you get stuck and you lose your head. But there's certain things you can control that are easy to not do. It's easy to not put yourself in a video with holding a gun when you just got in trouble for it 2 months ago. That's my take on it. Like, someone messing with you at a club, you lose your cool. That can happen to anybody, no matter if they're in the NBA or if they work the checkout at your local grocery store, right? It can happen to anybody about just losing your cool. But you can prevent yourself from doing a dumb video when you just got in trouble for it 2 months ago. And it's unfortunate that we got like, and you said it, and I know unfortunately that's how society looks at it, and it's unfair to say, well, he represents a whole race, and it's unfair because there are people that are going to give him not the benefit of the doubt or unfair treatment because of that, and that's not fair. And that's a shame of society, I guess.
But he's making them right.
And that's what I'm saying too is where he can control it though is by not doing the dumb things. Like, listen, if he's out in the club, you know, no matter what your race is, it shouldn't matter. You could lose your cool. Any of us could lose our cool in a club or out in public because a lot of times, like, listen, they mess with players because they know I got a payday coming up. All I got to do is,
of course,
it happens. We saw it happen recently with Russell Westbrook with that guy trying to get tough guy. We covered that.
I'm just gonna say that.
So yeah, we've already covered it. We know that guy thought he was. Come on, you're a slob. Russell Westbrook would mop the floor with you. You know that he would, but you're not tough. You're looking at it as you know you're going to get a couple of bucks for it. But when you can control it by not putting yourself in a video where it could get leaked, what are you doing, my man?
Like, no, you're right. It's
dumb. Go ahead,
Alex.
Sharp right. Don't prove Shannon Sharp right. The guy's an idiot. Don't prove him right. Like Shannon Sharp and him got beef. Like, don't do that. So like that's my take on it, man. But Allie, I'm sorry, I cut you off. And
23, right? He's stupid because we're all stupid at that age, no matter what we're doing. But you're stupid for doing what you're doing, knowing that you are the face of the franchise. Which again, I think Caleb said so well. He's acting as if he belongs to himself when everyone at that age feels like they do, but he is very different to everyone else his age because he does not. And not only that, but it's the NBA. And someone I think commented below here, like that they agree, like you should be this image, at least publicly on and off the court, right? So exactly. Follow the NBA rules. What you do in your private setting, what you own, if you legally want to own guns. Yeah. Okay. That's on you for sure. And there's nothing wrong with that. But then deciding to publicly put that out there, that's going to have repercussions. And again, I want to say like, yeah, every 23-year-old is stupid, but when you are getting media training, when you are, like belonging to the NBA, there's so much that not to do. And that's got to be like obvious. So it's like I want to, almost like want to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's young, he's whatever, and we're all stupid. And our brains are still forming well into our 20s, and we know that. But I can't with this one because it's just like, yes, it's not illegal. It's just stupid.
Especially when you just got in trouble for it.
You just got in trouble, which brings me to my next point. Is it like now on purpose? Is he now just like, this is the guy I want to be, tough guy? Like, is it that like, okay, I like that people are talking about me when, when it's not like to do with my talent or my, like, I don't know what it is. I really don't. I can't wrap my head around it.
No, you know what? Well, here's one thing. It's really, the truth is it's all for the attention, right? Yeah. He enjoys
it. It is.
Right?
That's what it is.
The young kids call it clout. But he likes that, right? He's 23. He's famous. He's rich as hell. Of course he wants to show off.
But that means it's stupid.
Like you just... And that max deal hasn't even started yet. His max deal, that comes next year, the max deal.
Absolutely stupid, right? But here's the thing. I make no excuses for anybody that they have to be responsible for themselves, right? Yes. But I'm going to say his friends, oh my God. The fact that you would do that to your boy, you're on Instagram Live. The second you see that he pulls his gun out, it's off. You immediately stop. How about this? You never go live.
So true.
Yeah.
You never go live with Ja. Are you kidding? Yeah. No. 100%. You can record everything that you want, and then you don't post it. Then you go back and look at the videos and decide what you're going to post, right? That's what you do. You do not, under any circumstance, post Ja Morant doing anything other than charity work, going to church, and playing basketball. That's it. That's your job, to preserve his $50 million a year contract. That is your job. You want to know why? Because you damn sure on them private jets with him. You damn sure on them yachts when he with them girls. You damn sure up in the hotels. You at the restaurants. You getting all the clout. He buying you Rolexes and diamond chains that you could never afford. He hooking you up. So what you can do is ensure that nothing stops the gravy train. That is your job. Just like you wouldn't let nobody run up on him, because that's what you're portraying, right? With the guns and all that. Oh, you can't come over here. We'll shoot you. Cool. You should protect all of that. You know what I mean? Nobody has to see that you got a gun to assume that you got one. I'm assuming that all of those young boys are strapped. And if they're not, their boy next to them better be, because this world is no joke, right? And I'm going to say this. Here's one thing that was happening that I just feel like that's how you know they're young. They're listening to NBA YoungBoy's new album. I like YoungBoy. You know what I mean? Even though I'm an old boy, I like YoungBoy. He talking all that trash. He talk all that stuff that I don't live, that I could never live, but I enjoy listening to it. Why? I don't know. I'm from the hip hop world. I like it. Anyway, so they're in it. They're hyped. They doing their thing. And he's talking about this and that. And there's times in music and rap music where the rapper will say something about like, oh, I'm ice, I got my chain. And if you icy him with a chain, while he's saying it, you'll grab yours. You'll do something like, yeah, we doing it. He might have been talking about a gun. And my boy Ja just out of natural said, oh, you know what I mean? Like, that's how it happens. That's how you listen. Here's what I mean. This might be for the chat to understand. if you're not of African American descent and you like hip hop and you in it, and your favorite rapper says the N-word, and you just say it too, and you just going through it, you're not thinking like, oh my God, and you're not trying to be racist. You're saying the N-word the way that we use it. You're using it the same way Drake is. So you're just in it, and you may think like, dang, I shouldn't have, right? If somebody recorded you doing it, and you're like, yo, I'm not being racist. I'm just, right? It's you get caught hype in music and stuff, and I think that had a lot to do with it. And sometimes when you hype, you're not thinking straight. You forget the whole world is watching. You think your IG live is just for your friends.
Yeah,
I know, but especially
I think
someone as big as him.
sometimes. Yeah, he's got millions of followers, I'm sure.
So he, and it wasn't even his IG, it was his friends, right?
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, his friend went live. It wasn't Ja. It was his friend that went live, but he has Ja on tape. And Ja had the gun in his hand and did all that. So I'm no excuses for that. But I'm just meaning like I could understand how it could happen, but it should not ever happen. And I'm gonna say this: he's young. His dad is close to him. His dad needs to lock that in. Like I would tell my son, you stupid, you shouldn't do that. But then I'm having a conversation with all your boys. I'm hitting them and they coming to dinner with me, and I'm letting them know, any of y'all. One more anything,
you're out.
You're done.
Yep,
you're done. You know what I'm saying? Like you think Tekashi snitched. I'm gonna have the feds on feedback. I'm gonna be like, listen, he robbed the store last week. His cousin moved dope at his mama's house.
Something in that guy's trunk. Yep.
Because my son is more important than you.
Yeah, that's right.
You know
now,
what I mean?
let me ask you a question.
Caleb, do you actually have kids? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
So you both can speak to what you would do for your kids.
I agree. There's nothing I wouldn't do.
Sure.
I would never publicly, if my son could do anything wrong, I would never sell him down the river. I would have a talk with him, but publicly, you would never know I disagree with anything he's ever done. Publicly, we'd have a different discussion. That's different.
You mean privately? Yeah.
I'm sorry, privately. Privately, we'd have a different discussion. But I would, I would protect my
F
son.
them friends though.
Oh yeah, they would go.
Like that's not.
That's messed up.
I don't care if I know you since you was 8.
What about what Memphis could do? I mean, do you bring in a veteran leader to kind of like get him to be like that mentor to him, or is he past the mentorship?
No, he's not listening to no. Because
it's got to come from the inside. It's got to come from the inside.
Bringing in Chris Paul, you don't think would help?
He's not listening to Chris.
I don't think so either.
Okay.
No.
I don't know how
it's got to come from the inside.
He has to decide.
He just needs to realize he wants to do the right thing.
When he decides that he wants something different, that's when it will be.
It's the internal change. Yeah,
that's right.
Nothing external is going to impact him if he's not ready or willing to change.
I just hope he doesn't ruin it for himself or
for Memphis
or something. No. Or for something bad to happen.
Yeah. Listen, look at Plaxico Burress.
Oh, that's my point.
Plaxico Burress, same situation. Just had a gun with him. And he dropped it. He shot himself, and then he did a couple.
That joke. Listen, here's what's funny about Plaxico. He had a Glock, and everybody that knows about guns know Glocks don't have safeties. In sweatpants.
Yeah. In sweatpants. It slid down his leg, right? Is that what happened? It slid down his leg, hit the ground, and popped up and shot him. And then and that was in one situation where it was bad for him. In a situation where it's bad for the team, let's go with your Philly fan. Let's go to Chris Carter, who was all the talent in the world with Philadelphia, but couldn't get his life together. They had to move on from him, and unfortunately, Philly missed out on having a great receiver because he goes to Minnesota and finally grows up and has the career that they were hoping for in Philly.
It took almost losing his career for that to happen.
And that's what I'm saying. For hopefully for Ja and hopefully for Memphis fans, that's not what it takes for Ja to straighten out.
My mama used to always say, a hard head make a soft ass. So
I like that.
We need more of those words of wisdom on this show.
That's a good one, Mama Pinkett. I love it. All right, so let's move on. We'll move on. We'll take it easy on the kid for a little bit now. Let's move on to Monty Williams, out as the Suns head coach. Happened last week. I was surprised at this. I think he's a really fantastic young coach. I think he's got a hell of a future.
I thought they would give him one more year, because KD came in at the end,
Yeah, wait. So why do you think? I'm in agreement that I thought he would have definitely had another year, especially with what happened with this team this year. But why? So why is that? Why did they?
Here's why I think. 20-point plus blowout in Game 7.
Yeah,
2
okay.
seasons in a row.
Well,
last season, the same thing happened to Phoenix. Remember, against the Mavericks, they were supposed to win that series, and the Mavericks blew them out by 30 in Game 7 in Phoenix, right? So now they go to, and so they go get KD. Well, near the end, comes in Game 6, they lose by 20 plus to Denver. They're like, dude, we can't have it. Now, I would have kept him one more season. I would have gave him a full season with this team and see what he can do. But they didn't. So I think Monty Williams is a phenomenal coach. I think he would do good in Milwaukee. I think he would be good there. I think he'd be really good for them. I think they need somebody like him because he understands the young game. And I think somebody like Giannis doing what he needs is completely different than DeAndre Ayton.
It's definitely a step up because he was in Phoenix when Phoenix wasn't really good yet. Again, I agree, but I think they should have given him one more year for a couple of reasons. A, you just put this experiment together with KD. That's going to take time to when you got two guys like KD and D-Book, you got to give them time to gel and get used to playing with each other. And it looked like they started to, but here was the problem with that team. We said it all postseason. There was zero depth on that team. They had zero room for error. Once the starter went out, they had zero room for error. You got to give those guys a chance next year with a bench where they could go to like an 8, 9, 10 or 10 depth type of team. They can only on a good day they could only maybe go 8 deep, and even then it was a stretch. You got to give them next year where now you restock that bench. I think that's why you should have gotten one more year. I think it was definitely too much of a just a knee-jerk reaction getting rid of him so far. But I'll tell you what, because he's so good with young players, I know I keep trying to put coaches in Detroit and Houston, but I think he'd be great in Detroit and Houston. You got a couple of young guys there, Cade Cunningham, Ivy, Duran in Detroit, with some more picks coming. I think Detroit would be a good spot for him. Not very much pressure on early on. You're gonna have a chance to help develop and build those kids up. You get the young player like you mentioned before, Caleb. And if I was going to send him to a team that's a little bit more longer in the tooth, if I was GM, I think another place might be good for him is Toronto. I think Toronto has a little bit of work to do with how they build that team, but I think he'd be good in Toronto as well. Yeah. Milwaukee, I don't know. Milwaukee is going to be any coach is going to be able to go there and win for the most part, right? Winning a championship is a different story, but any coach is going to be able to go there and bring them to the postseason.
That's what I think. Williams, Rivers, teaming up. 2 head coaches. They start a team in Seattle. They get all these young kids in the NBA. They make the next superstars themselves. What do you guys think?
I don't know.
Oh, are we making NBA teams in places?
I tell you what. Well, I don't know what's going to.
Co-head coaches with a brand new team that doesn't.
And it just shows you.
What I'm thinking.
Doc looks like he's going to get another year. At least they haven't said that they're getting rid of him yet. He's the guy, like it should have been roles reversed. Doc should have been out this year and Monty should have had another year. But yeah. So my question is this now, Allie, who do you think fits best in Phoenix?
So you mentioned Budenholzer? How do you say
Budenholzer.
So he'd be good, but he'd all the people that you mentioned who would potentially be good to then take over for Rivers would really be good to take over for the Suns too. Ty Lue, I don't know if Clippers are letting him go. Obviously, what the situation is there, he'd be great there too. I feel like I know they're exploring Young, they're exploring Nick, they're exploring other options, but I do think Budenholzer would be great for this team and 76ers if they let Rivers go. Or maybe Ty Lue.
I think you're 100% right, Allie. I think the same type of coach that would fit in Phoenix would also fit in Philly.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's obviously if you could get like a carbon copy of whoever one gets, the other one.
And I also agree that it's interesting. Doc is still there after many more losses, like historically, than compared to Williams and Williams, and they were just like, nah, Williams out. And I maybe it's because like the Suns had a new, there's a new owner, right, this year. So like, maybe he's just like
gotta be part of it.
I think that played a huge part into this. Like he's just like taking over and like just doing everything. I don't know. I would have liked to see him in one more season, and I am kind of surprised that like Rivers is still there, but like Williams is not. So I don't know. We'll see.
Monty Williams has a hell of a career ahead of him.
Probably would be the
Yes,
best.
I believe so. I think he's a phenomenal coach. So
who do you think ends up there, Caleb?
In Phoenix?
Yeah.
I have no idea because I don't know who's available.
Well,
you know what I mean?
The three that are mentioned mostly right now prominently is Young, who is the Kevin Young, who's the assistant with the Suns right now, Nick Nurse from Toronto, and Budenholzer from Milwaukee. Those are the three that are supposedly like the three front runners for the.
You want to know what? I think they might give it to the assistant
because he knows the system, he knows who's there.
Because he knows, but also like he knows the players. The only one he doesn't know is KD, but he knows them more than what those other guys would. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Nick Nurse absolutely is proven and would be great. You know what I mean? Budenholzer I think would be great, but it's like you saw what Darvin Ham was able to do just with the Lakers. Now I get it; he has LeBron and AD. You know what I mean? But you got Booker and fucking KD. I'm sorry, Booker and KD in Phoenix. So it's like like you don't have no scrubs either, and you still got Chris Paul. I know he's long in the tooth, but he's not a scrub. You know what I mean? Yeah, no. So, I mean, you got a nice team. All you got to do is replace Ayton or inspire him. Because that might be something that Monty wasn't able to do. And let me tell you something. The players are more valuable than the coach. Not literally, but what I mean is as far as what the owner, who they're paying. Monty's salary a year is nothing compared to what they pay Ayton. So that means if Ayton's not happy, it may be you that got to go, right? Like, well, they're not getting rid of Ayton. They're going to keep him, but not you. So, you know what I mean? Like, because that could have been something, too, because Ayton and Monty weren't always clicking. You know what I mean? Because Ayton was trying to leave in the offseason. You know what I mean? So that may have stuff to do with it. You got a player that's not happy and feeling like, well, it's his system. I was doing great until he showed up type thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like who knows?
And I think Ayton fits a lot better with KD in the picture because he takes the offensive pressure off of Ayton to be able to have to do anything. So that KD addition is better than just having KD on your team. It lessens the pressure of the players on that team. And
it's also hard to replace a good center. Right.
Yeah.
So you get rid of Ayton. There's a gaping hole there. Not saying nobody can't feel it, but like it's a little different. You'll have to go into the draft, and hopefully you draft good. You know what I mean? So who knows?
Yeah. So all right. So let's move on. Bucks interview. We already talked this a little bit, so we won't stay on there. But yeah, they're going to interview Mark Jackson for the coaching job. I think you said that he'd be your front runner, right, Caleb, for that squad?
I think he'd be phenomenal for them. I really do. I think he's been out the league for a while. I think, and what I mean by that, like how I was talking about Doc with the game passing you by. See, here's the difference with Mark. Mark is old school as well. He used to be point guard for the Knicks back in the day. And all
I remember. Allie wasn't born yet, probably, but I remember.
That's right. And the Pacers, by the way. But what I will say is this: he's been a NBA analysis for 5-6 seasons, right? Where he's watching the games and he's calling the games. That means he's seeing how the game is played and he's doing it from a different perspective. It's not from a coaching perspective. It's from an analysis. So he's watching. So he's understanding the way the game is played now. So he's actually more prepared for the game today than other people, right? Than other potential coaches that you're bringing out of retirement or something, because he is paid to watch every single game and talk intelligently about it. So that means he has to understand the dynamics and the way that the game is played. I truly believe he may have changed his coaching style and maybe added a couple things to be.
That's a good point.
To work in today's game. So I think that's why he would be good, because he's taking that old school knowledge that he has and his understanding and now applying it to today's game. He understands the way the refs call plays, because I watch him. He'll be saying, oh, this is ridiculous. Back when I played, we wouldn't allow this. But in this day and age, this is allowed. And he would break it down.
Yeah, that's so true.
And he's proven he can overachieve, because he overachieved with a young Warrior team that wasn't ready to win yet.
Right.
And unfortunately, they removed him just before they were ready to get over that hump. I think he could have did it with them. I don't know if he would have did it with Kerr. Curry was on the magical run. I don't know. I'm not saying he could have did what Kerr did, but I think he could have won a handful of games and maybe won a championship with that team.
He definitely won a chip.
Do you see this as a good fit, knowing him from the broadcast booth?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just from what he was able to do with the Warriors, I mean, yeah, they let him go right before he was able to kind of like really carry that out. But I think it was like after 2 seasons of kind of losses toward the end or not getting through the playoff push. So I get it, but he was so significant in that role. And to Caleb's point, now understanding his personal knowledge and how it's changed and being able to speak on what it is now and having a good understanding of that. I think that's phenomenal. I feel like that's the best of kind of both worlds you would want in a head coach, someone who's been there, someone who's transformed a huge team into kind of like the baseline to what it is now, the Warriors. And then just being able to understand and watch every single game. Like, that is so true. That is more than I feel like a lot of current head coaches now, like just that level of really being plugged in. Yeah, I think he'd be a great fit.
I think he'd be a great fit too. I agree. I think the only people that lose in that situation are the viewers watching, because he's great with Van Gundy. And Van Gundy are fantastic watching them call games. So I'd miss seeing him call games myself. But
have to be a big contract, I feel like, to pull him back in.
Definitely. Now, we talk about some of this other stuff, so we're going to skip down to the potential landing spots for Giannis, because there's been talk that he might get traded this year. There's some rumors. Coming in at the 3 spot was the Grizzlies. The 2nd spot was the Heat. 1 spot is the Knicks. Do any of you guys think that he could possibly move this offseason?
If he went to the Knicks.
Oh, forget about it. If he goes to the Knicks, guys, I don't even know what I'm doing.
You're going to go to Disney for 6 months and just
until basketball season. And then I'll be living in the garden.
Yeah, they can give up all their picks, and they're gonna have because with that I would keep Randall.
Oh
yes,
he's the one. He's the Batman that they need.
You probably have to give Randall up.
That they would need.
Huh?
You probably have to give Randall up.
I mean, if you have to, you have to, but maybe not. If you got so many picks that you can.
And RJ Barrett, this would definitely be an RJ Barrett themed.
Oh around. Yeah, 1,000%, 1,000%. But I'm telling you, Randall, Brunson, and Giannis. Now that is a nice team.
Oh, that's a championship team next year.
Yeah. Now here's the thing with Giannis. He's so phenomenal. Any team in the NBA, he's gonna be great. Could you imagine Giannis on the Kings? Imagine if the Kings just got rid of Sabonis. It was like, here, you take Sabonis. Like, plugging Giannis in with a Darren Fox.
Or even, let's look at the Heat. Look what the Heat are doing already without.
Oh my God! You can't listen. If he was in Miami with Tyler Hero, they would have to get rid of all those players.
Hero would be one of the guys that goes, I think.
1,000%. But it's okay. That dude, come on, man, come on. Any team in the NBA, it's out of here. It's out of here.
Do we even think, Allie? Do we even think that he's going to get moved, or is this just people just speculating to speculate?
No, I don't even think he's going to get moved. But that'd be a sick
Milwaukee's not moving him.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Because I think they still have a couple more years on his contract, and just because a player asks to move doesn't mean you have to do it.
And here's the thing too: getting rid of Budenholzer is what's going to keep him there anyway, because they're going to give him every ability to pick the new coach. He's going to have just as much say on this new coach as the GM and the team.
They're going to need at least 1 season to see him with a new head coach. So
who do you think requested Mark Jackson?
I would imagine it was probably him.
Thank you. You want to know why? Because he's at home and he's like, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about.
He's becoming a spectator. He likes that Van Gundy and Jackson duo too. Hey, does anybody remember they've been showing it a lot?
Hold up watching TV. I love it.
It just makes me think. Remember they've been showing it a lot this week because the Knicks Heat series. You remember the fight with Alonzo Mourning and Jeff Van Gundy draped around Alonzo Mourning's leg? And him just dragging him across the court, trying to fight Charles Oakley and Larry Johnson.
I don't think so.
But anyway, you don't remember? Oh, you might have been too young. How old were you in '98? So you don't have to tell us. I graduated high
28.
I graduated high school when she was born.
Yeah, I graduated high school in '98 as well.
So there you go. All right, so that's that. You know what? We'll talk a little NFL because we're gonna get out here in about 5 minutes. But let's talk a little bit NFL. Patty, show that. I don't. Have you guys seen this video that Tennessee Titans did?
Nuh-uh.
Oh, they see now
have it easy, right?
Well, I'm not even talking about their schedule, but nowadays you see these teams put up these videos for the schedule releasing, and they had a really good one. Patty, you got a thumbs up?
Right. What the is that? St. Louis Rams. Lightning McQueen.
Go.
Cowboys, yeah. Red Stallions. Ha.
Chester Cheeto.
49ers, 69ers, 49ers. No. Stars. Who's that? Bulls? Who? Patriots? That's the Patriots logo. That it actually does not exist.
Is that the end of the party? There's more. There's more than that. But anyway,
those kids are drunk in Nashville. They don't live there.
Yeah.
They're there for like bachelor parties, birthday
I've never
parties.
been to Nashville, but I feel like I have to go to Nashville.
We gotta let them.
It's like
we gotta let them be, but that was rough.
But yeah, so I think they had the best one. There was one too that
Cheetah was my favorite.
I thought it was that doesn't actually exist. That was
the 69ers, 49ers.
But yeah, that was a pretty good one too.
You said no, it's the Stars.
Yeah. But yeah, I believe the Broncos. I think we're not going to play because we're going to get out of here in a minute anyway. But the Broncos had one where they did like an office, the show The Office. That they're
I would love to see that.
where they were doing a draft party with Angela, who was always the draft. She was always the party planner of the Office. So she was party planning for their scheduled release date or release party with Miles, the mascot of the Broncos. So there's that. We're not going to go over too much NFL because, like I said, it's already 1:52 and it's about time to get out of here. So. We'll do NFL, I guess, on Wednesday because there'll be a little bit less basketball to talk about since we covered most of a lot of the happenings in the NBA. I think you're going to see quiet news-wise. I think you're going to see quiet news the next 2 weeks. I think they're going to try to give most of the coverage to the actual games themselves. So I don't think you're going to see a lot of stuff. I feel like the league always kind of frowns upon it when someone does something big in the league as far as hiring a coach. You might not see. I don't think you see any more coach hirings until after the postseason ends. I know it seems like the league frowns upon it when they try to take away some of the thunder from the games. So it probably be a little bit less NBA. So we'll probably get into more NFL, maybe a little bit of baseball too. So with that, Allie, last words of the day.
Oh my gosh, it's early. It's sunny. I'm going to go for a walk, guys. If you can and you're able to, go outside, get in nature. It's good for you. And just be nice.
And go enjoy a taco at Taco Tuesdays in Freeport.
Oh my God, I still haven't gone. I can't wait to go. This is the week. This is the week. This is it.
Caleb, last words of the day.
Happy belated Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Yes.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yes. Beautiful.
There you go. You want to go? You're go with the oldie but
it's
goodie.
spread love. It's the Brooklyn way.
There you go. And guys, remember, no Tuesdays and Thursdays, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. But guys, everyone have a great today, a better tomorrow. We will see you guys on Wednesday. Bye.
That's the pop off for today, folks. Thank you to all of our listeners, as well as our producers, Patty Puddles and Fareed Kameo. And make sure you tune in tomorrow to hear what these hooligans will pop off about next.